Tyler Shough took the NFL by storm in his rookie season, almost winning Offensive Rookie of the Year despite only playing in 11 games. So I want to dive into this film and see, have the Saints found their next franchise QB, or if the Saints are going to quickly find themselves in the Arch Manning sweepstakes. After diving in the film for myself, I want to say it's quite telling. So let's dive in. Anytime I break down film on this channel, I always love to start off with the positives before I go over anything else. And my absolute favorite trait when talking about Tyler Shough is the touch that he's able to put on the football. And that's something that's rare for a rookie, so that is something he can definitely build on for the foreseeable future. But right here on this first play, we're going to get a split zone, outside zone type of run action. And what run action is, it's a harder fake than typical play action would be. And what we're really trying to do is we're trying to get a flood concept right here to the outside, where we're putting the running back out to the flat and we are sending Chris Olave on a corner, because we know the Rams love to run cover 2 in this type of situation. And we're just trying to say, if you backpedal right here and get depth, we're hitting the flat quick. If you stay down, we're driving this corner out, but we got to have enough touch on it to put it over your head. And I think he does a great job here. Good job selling the run action right here, in my opinion, right? Gets to that back foot, slides over a little bit in the pocket. Great pocket awareness right there, and then drives this football high enough where it can't be picked off, but also keeps it down to where we're not floating it and getting our receiver killed, right? So great throw right there. And this next play right here, we're going to see the same type of touch that we'd have on the football, but there's also a negative built into this play as well, despite it being a touchdown. And that's, we're getting man coverage across the board right here. Too high safety look pre-snap, but this safety seems to be walked down a little bit. So we got a linebacker on a tight end. So we want to see quickly, is this man coverage or is this too high? Is it cover 3 and he's going to buzz down, right? We got to take in all this information post-snap, but we're going to have a simple concept right here. We're fading the outside receiver and we're taking the inside slot receiver on a skinny post. He just has to win if it's man coverage, and this should be eliminated based on the leverage pre-snap, right? Anytime you've got a corner who's 8 yards off, we really don't like just throwing a go ball on him, because he has the advantage here unless his feet are dead when the receiver closes ground on him. And on this backside, exact same thing, except we're going to more so wrap around this linebacker if it does end up being zone coverage and he's the robber player right here, right? And that's exactly what you're going to see. Turns into what looks to be some type of match look right here, and immediately Tyler Shough looks to the strong side of his formation. I believe he has 11 here coming open over the middle, so he should step up in this pocket, drive this football in. Instead, throws it up, puts it in a spot that his guy can't get it. I would say that's worse DB play and a great catch than anything good on Tyler Shough. But once again, it's a great job putting the football in a place where it's not really dangerous, right? You never love leaving fades on the inside, but if you can give it enough touch, when that DB turns his head, you're able to put it in a spot where your receiver catches it or no one does. So great touch on that football there. Once again, Tyler Shough's going to get an opportunity to show off his touch that he's able to put on the football right here. And this is just a staple across the NFL. Coming out in an empty formation right here, running backs blocking the mugged up linebacker right here if he comes. And this just looks like cover 1. Right? We got a safety on a receiver. We love that matchup. Cover 1, we want to look this safety off and take our fade on the safety if we like it, because that's ultimately what we have. We have a fade, something short, right? Typically, when teams come out and empty and the slot is on the ball, this is typically the type of concept you're going to get. Either a drag, slant underneath, some type of hitch, anything like that, right? And then on this other side, we're going to have something different that we can work that will kind of, if they go into cover 3, which is the only other option it really is, we want to hit this receiver right here. I believe this is Chris Olave on a skinny post. This guy's hitching on the outside. So we're trying to keep whoever this hook defender is down, and we're trying to hit this in behind whoever drops in case it is some type of zone coverage. And the defense is fooling us right here. Ends up being cover 1, and we throw a great football. Keep that safety in the middle for just long enough. That's a heck of a catch by our receiver. But once again, that's something he's good at. That's something he can definitely build on, is the touch that he's able to put on the football. And he does a great job of giving his wide receivers a chance. Okay, here on this next one, we're going to have a very similar concept right here, because pre-snap Rams are showing us a one high look. And that's something Kellen Moore really, really loves. But we're going to motion this guy over, get us into a twins formation right here. And we get in this twins formation, once again, we see one high safety, mugged up linebacker right here. but he's dropping out, you see, so that's going to kind of give us a couple clues that the Rams are trying to really confuse us right here. Right on this backside, Chris Olave's got the hitch, and then we got the skinny post once again in case somebody drops and they run some type of cover 3. We've got that window throw right there we need to get to quick, but this time instead of the slot running the fade, we're going to have the outside receiver kind of try to hit the hole right here in the defense, try to hit a hole shot if we got it because we're on this hash right here, and the underneath guy is running a pivot or return route right here where he's really putting himself in a situation to just beat man coverage if we need him to. And right here, you see the Rams are going to try to confuse us. They're going to rotate late to a Tampa 2 type of look. Quickly, he wants to get to Rashid Shaheed right here. He realizes that they're dropping into that, so he should know, like I said pre-snap, if they're dropping on the D-line, we're trying to hit this window right here. So his eyes should instantly, once he sees this guy push over to the middle, his eyes and his feet should instantly get right here, and we should be looking to throw this football into this window right here in between these defenders, and then we can give our guy a great chance to get us some yards after the catch, right? Instead, Tyler Shough doesn't like what he sees, steps up, goes to scramble, something he does often, and because they're in a disguise type of look here, right? He's not used to playing this Tampa 2 linebacker, the Mike right here, so he kind of loses Chris Olave over the middle, and we make a great throw on the run, right? That's something good. We turned our negative into a positive, but that's something you want to see him kind of learn is, hey, what's my answer based off of this route concept against whatever defense I get? On this next one right here, I really love this play call. We're going to have a drive concept called up right here. The reason I love that so much, I think it's one of the best pure read progression type of concepts there is because it kind of gives you an answer to any type of defense you get, and it's all pure timing, and you can kind of hit everything the way you want to. So right here, we're going to have a mandatory outside release fade, kind of hit that hole shot if we do get a cover 2 look. If we get man, we can throw it up to our receiver if we keep this safety in the middle. We're going to motion out Chris Olave here, and then we're going to hit him with a double cross type of look, right? So this inside receiver is going to come here on a short crosser over the middle, and then we're going to have our tight end go on a deeper cross over the middle, followed by Chris Olave coming on a drift route, which is when he pushes past this defender if it's zone coverage and then wraps underneath the safety. And this is one of the best routes in pure progression concepts because it's a dig, but instead of being flat, you kind of get to come back to the quarterback where it's going to be open every single time. And watch Tyler Shough read it through it right here, right? You see, we motion that receiver over. We get our eyes on this safety. We see they're drifting back into a cover 2 type of look right here. So he instantly goes to look over the middle. They do a great job passing this off in their zones. But instead of hanging in the pocket and saying, okay, if they pass this off well, then I can hit this drift route right in this window right here. He goes to run because he doesn't like what he sees. Ends up directing traffic right here. Makes a great throw to his receiver. But once again, he's just not really fully executing the play call that's being called by his offensive coordinator / head coach in Kellen Moore. Okay, here we're going to have a completely different type of concept, more of an old school concept right here where we're trying to split the field in half and we're saying, hey, based on what they're giving you pre-snap, you have to work a certain side of the field. And what that's going to be right here is we're going to have a hook route, we're going to have another hook route, and then we're going to have a post right over the middle. Right, and we're really saying against zone coverage here, we're trying to pull these linebackers down and we're trying to hit our tight end on this window in between the two safeties if we're getting some type of Tampa 2 look, right? Because if it's Tampa 2, he's either got to carry this post and then we hit this hook, or he drives down on the hook really quick and we hit the post, try to split the safeties, and he gets in the end zone right here. And on the other side, we're going to have a quick slant and we're going to have a flat to our running back. So we're banking on this guy rushing the passer right here, and if he does that and we have man coverage, if he tries to hang back in this window, we hit our flat quick, pick up an easy 5. If he drives quickly on the running back getting out to the flat, we take the slant in behind him and pick up an easy couple yards. Watch. Gets to his zone coverage side right here, which is a good job because they're giving us match. It looks to be like some sort of cover 4 match right here, and gets lined up to his target. Jawan Jennings right here realizes that is not going to be open. Instead of pushing over to 14 and getting that ball out quick, I believe that's Vele, he just kind of panics, goes to scramble because he feels the pocket getting tight, and Chris Olave kills that defender in scramble drill. Okay, once again here, we're going to have another type of pick your side type of concept, right? Not really a pure progression type of read, but we're going to have the exact same concept on both sides of the field. So we're splitting the field in half here, and we're running bench. And what bench is, it's typically a corner with some type of out, but this is a really bad alignment for it here on the outside. So really, if we're Tyler Shough, we're kind of canceling this side of the field out unless we just really believe we love our matchup right here and he can maybe stem it inside and break to the corner, but we typically don't have enough time in the pocket to be able to do something like that. So we're really looking to this side over here with our tight end, and we're hoping that we can go with the corner right here with all this area to throw it and the quick out, right? You're going to see this receiver right here gets jammed up, and that causes Tyler Shough to panic. And instead of continuing to read the concept out and hitting his tight end quick on the out, instead what he ends up doing is panicking, going to run, and he makes a great throw and puts great touch on it. And once again, we get a touchdown right here. But you're going to see this is one of those concepts we never want to look to the other side because we're going to be late to anything that does get open, especially with the type of spacing we have over here, right? That's not good. Maybe if he had an option route and he could break this inside if need be, but we're just not in a position to be able to make any type of good throw here. We're just asking for a pick, which is why you see he sets over here, looks, realizes, oh wait, that can't get open. I know that pre-snap. So he instantly goes to roll out, and he puts a great ball up for Chris Olave. But I think, once again, that's just bad DB play. But now I think we have a play where he does a really great job scrambling out of the pocket and makes a great throw. And that's why you kind of have to give and take some of these things, because he naturally wants to play in this way, and sometimes it's going to be great, and sometimes you're like, man, if you would just execute the play more consistently, right? So here, we're going to once again have a drift route or a backside dig over here. We're going to be running a post corner here on the outside, and then what I really want to highlight right here is going to be the out and up right here, right? So we're really trying to exploit cover 2 with this, right? We're trying to make this safety drive down here. If he does that, we're able to make this throw unless Jesse Bates commits hard on this post. And if he does that, we should have the wheel. And they know based on film and tendencies, the Falcons love to run cover 2 right here. So they're going to take advantage of that. Pass rusher does a great job closing the pocket right here. So he's kind of got to scramble out. And we know based on cover 2, especially when we start to scramble out, he's going to have to trigger downhill, hoping that he has safety help here over the top who's going to save him. He ends up not doing that. We put the ball in a great window right there in between the safety and the DB. That's just a great job right there by Tyler Shough, and it shows like he is effective throwing on the run in scramble drill, and he does a great job when nothing is there and the pocket collapses. Okay, but now for one of the bigger points of the video, and that's, yeah, his numbers were decent last season. I believe he had 12 touchdowns and 6 picks, but as I was going through the film, I realized just how inflated those numbers were by either bad DB play or great play calling, or like I mentioned, just some kind of fluky scramble drill stuff where if the DB was more disciplined, that might not be open, right? So right here's a great example of this. J.C. Horn on Chris Olave, one of the best corners, great receiver in the league. He's all over this double move right here, right? Doesn't really give any ground on the hitch and go, stride for stride with him. I honestly don't mind him throwing it up here. But watch, J.C. Horn's just going to fall down. And we kind of get bailed out by that to an extent. Because like I said, J.C. Horn's great when the ball's in the air. But I also do want to say, like, this is incredible touch on a football. Like, I still have to give props where I have to give props. Like, this is a great throw. My only question is when you see he doesn't win on the double move, why are we not quicker to maybe get on the drag when we have a defensive lineman covering our receiver? Those are just the questions I would have for that, but I also say great football, way to give your guy a chance. Good things do happen when you give your guy a chance. Right here, I think is another great example of just bad DB play that kind of gives him an advantage here. You see kind of quick to leave the pocket here, kind of gets pushed in a little bit. I would love for him to step to the side and stay within the pocket, allow your tackle here to block, because based on the concept we have a backside drift route, and then we have a post, and then we have a corner right here, so we know this route is going to take anything over here, and this post should be getting open. If we can step to the side, hitch in the pocket, and throw this ball back here, we'll have probably a touchdown, in my opinion. But instead, we try to run. We have to throw off our back foot a little bit here as we're scrambling the side. And thankfully, J.C. Horn falls down again here, and that helps us out, right? But I would say the movement in the pocket here isn't as good as you'd like it to be, because you'd like him to slide in the pocket, regather himself, get his base, and then throw this football to the back corner. But once he sees J.C. Horn fall down, it's fine, and it works out, right? That's just one of those minor things where if J.C. Horn doesn't fall down right there, and we're running out of the pocket like that, instead of just sliding to the side, we're kind of putting ourselves in a position where nothing would have been open. We would have had to throw the football away. Right here, I just want to kind of point this out. This happened a couple times on film, and this is something that happens for every QB. I mean, if you go to Peyton Manning's incredible season he had with the Broncos where he won NFL MVP, like it was all pick routes. But I just want to say, like, if most of our touchdowns are coming from scramble drill, pick routes, and DBs falling down, like that's not a good look overall in my opinion. And that's what we're going to have right here, right? Slot fade with Chris Olave. Both the receivers run directly at the DBs who could possibly play over the top. This corner is too far away from it. I don't know why he is so far to this side of the field. In all honesty, anytime we're talking about a 3-by-1 formation, I feel like you would love for this safety to play on this other hash because you want him to be able to help out. But Saints do a great job taking advantage of that. Tyler Shough holds him in the middle with his eyes, and Chris Olave screams wide open. Still a great football. It's just one of those things where, once again, like we're kind of putting ourselves in a situation as an offense where we're kind of helping the quarterback out a ton, and that can inflate the numbers for someone who's not looking at the film. Not a flaw on him in any degree. It's great to have a good offensive mind as your head coach, but just one of those things to take note of. Okay, right here, I want to point out, once again, that bad post-snap processing I mentioned earlier, and see where it kind of got him in trouble last season. Right, so here, you would say based on the leverage, this guy has outside leverage. We want to attack the middle of the field right here, underneath the safety, on top of the robber over the middle. This DB is playing like 20 yards off. He's giving us a comeback or anything like that, and we're still going to chunk it up anyway. Right, and we're really putting ourselves in a bad situation there. I'd love him to hang in this pocket, fire this ball, drive it into 11 right here on the hash, and we're going to have a huge game, potentially a touchdown. Instead, we chunk it up into double coverage when this route had no chance of ever being open, and we throw a pick. This play does a great job of showing how poor the post-snap processing was early on in the season. I definitely think it improved. It just didn't improve as much as I would like it to. But here, we're going to have a simple cover 2 beater, right, where we're going go on the outside, quick out right here from the slot receiver. And the way we're reading this is if it's cover 2, if this guy doesn't give at all, meaning he doesn't backpedal, he doesn't give any type of cushion, then we know he's probably sitting hard in that flat and we shouldn't throw the quick out. But if he goes and turns his back, then we should instantly throw this because we like our matchup here against the linebacker. We should know this is zone coverage because who in the world would ever put a linebacker on Chris Olave, right? These are just some things that he should kind of know and pick up on in his time in the NFL. And watch, he's going to force it to Chris Olave here. Even though his eyes are keyed in on him and he gave no ground at all, we should instead pump fake this and try to hit the seam right here. Instead, we try to fire it into Chris Olave and throw what should have been a pick 6 if this DB took his chances on us on the outside. Thankfully, one of our O-linemen hustled and made a play. And here we're looking at one more pick. And once again, just a bad job reading the leverage. And not confirming post-snap, right? He likes his one-on-one matchup here. He's taught to look this safety off, right? Eyes over here, make this safety get over here. Does a great job doing that. But anytime we're talking about a receiver who's running an option route, which this is what this is, he can either go or come back. We have to read the leverage, see that his hips are flipped and he's already opened up, and we should be ready to throw the comeback right here. Instead, we throw it up, give the DB an easy pick. Would have been a very difficult football for us to catch anyway if we were Chris Olave because we would have been on the outside, pressed to the sideline, no room to throw the football if you're the quarterback. And I think that's just something where, once again, the bad post-snap processing showed up multiple times, and that's just something to take note of. So in my opinion, should the Saints be in on Arch Manning? Yes. I mean, if they have 2 wins going into Week 10, it's hard to convince me that you wouldn't want to get the grandson of your former quarterback who was amazing. Right, in Archie Manning. It's just hard for me to imagine that Tyler Shough, unless he takes a step this year, is going to contribute to winning a ton of games in the NFL. Yes, he's going to make plays for you every once in a while, but I just don't think what I saw on tape, specifically here, is going to lead to a bunch of wins. You can let me know down below if you disagree, and I'd love to hear your opinions on it. I know he's a rookie. I know I'm being hard on him, but I think when we're talking about a guy who's being talked about as the face of the franchise, as maybe a superstar quarterback in the NFL, we've got to grade the film fairly and say he's not a great post-snap processor. He doesn't hang in the pocket. He tries to bail really quickly, and he can do good things on the run. He's very accurate throwing on the run, but I just don't see elite traits if he's not going to be an incredible processor in the NFL. So thanks for watching, and see ya.